Hello, everybody out there. So for today's video, I wanted to do a video, excuse me, on can men and women just be friends? I feel like this will be a little bit more of a highly debated topic, especially possibly in a live chat, just because I think the title's kind of interesting. So I actually haven't really read any studies or any data on anything I've talked about before. So this will be the first time for that. So I am going to have the hard task of trying to read and make eye contact. And I don't really feel like I'm good at that. So I apologize in advance. But again, that's what the topic is. Same as the video title. And I'm going to start reading that little tidbit of information and study real quick just so I can have a basis of what I'm talking about. So the study that it was done was at the University of Wisconsin. They brought in about 88 pairs of opposite sex friends into the lab. The pairs were required to promise in front of each other that they would refrain from discussing the study after they left the lab. They were then separated and asked a series of questions to gauge the romantic feelings towards the opposite sex friend. Excuse me, did I? Researchers found that while women were generally not attracted to their male friends and saw the relationship as strictly platonic, that the men usually had romantic feelings for their lady friends. Not only were the guys more attracted to their supposedly platonic female buds, they also mistakenly believed that the feelings were reciprocal and they were more willing to act in an erroneously perceived mutual attraction. They were more willing to act on their erroneously perceived mutual attraction. Obviously, I'm not reading the exact study, so if that hurts your feelings, then go cry somewhere else, because that's what I'm reading, a summary. Basically, the research found that women generally think that guys and gals can just be friends, while men are, a lot of times, not always, but secretly hoping there's a chance their relationships with their female friends can be something more. Basically, the study kind of gives us the explanation, which I was going to say is behind like the idea of the friend zone, as again, women think that they can have platonic friendships with men, and men do not always have that same feeling. That's the general study, and of course, there's going to be people out there that are going to hear me read the study, and they're going to say, but Ethan, you looked up one study, and it confirms your bias. No, I looked up the one study so that I don't have assholes that do the second thing that I don't want, which is, you have no basis of what you're talking about. You don't understand, because I can't handle that shit. I can't handle it at all. So that is the reason for getting the study, to have like a basis of what I'm talking about isn't just coming out of like left field or right field. Like there's a basis of what I'm talking about, and it's not just me being kind of crazy or I don't know, misogynistic or some crazy shit like that. Anyway, so now that's like the little basic, you know what study. So what does this look like from my perspective? So the way that I see things is that there are some things right off the bat that kind of knock you off this list of not being able to be friends with someone of the opposite sex and have like a platonic relationship. Number one is if your friend is attracted to the same sex. So if you have a guy friend and you're a girl and he's attracted to other guys and he's gay, then obviously you're not going to have to worry about it not being a platonic relationship because they're not interested in you. So take that off. Number two is if you have a friend who is in a like seriously committed relationship, most times there's not going to be that boundary of the line being crossed of if you can actually be platonic friends. Number three is if you have been friends with someone for like your entire life or a good portion of your life and they're like your brother or your sister, then more than likely there's probably not some sort of like other physical or emotional attraction to that person. And then number four, which sounds kind of bad, and I admit that it sounds kind of bad, but if you are a very attractive dude and you have a friend who's a girl and it's platonic and you're significantly more attractive than she is, and no offense to anybody, but if they're significantly less attractive than he is, then he can have a friend who's a female and it be strictly platonic. The same thing is very, very common in the other way around, where women who are very, very attractive have friends who are males who are just platonic because the woman, like in reality, is much more attractive than the guy is, which is, again, like the whole friend zone idea. Excuse me, coming to pass as my allergies try and kill me for like the 19th time during this video. So that's the basic idea. Now, as far as like practically being applied, I can't think of the words I want to use, but actually being able to apply this shit to like real life stuff. what does it actually look like? Obviously, I'm not saying that it is impossible to have friends that are platonic of the opposite sex. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that you can't have friends of the opposite sex. So I'm not saying it's impossible, because it is possible, but it's also a very hard thing to do, and you have to kind of like figure out like if it's really platonic or not. Now, what I would say is if most men really thought about their platonic friends who are women who don't check those other boxes, they're not in a relationship, they're straight, they're not super duper like more unattractive than the guy is, they're not someone you've known your entire life, really ask yourself, like, do you find them physically attractive, emotionally attractive? Like, is there any type of attraction there? And again, it goes for women. If they really ask themselves that question, like, am I attracted to them in any way? If the answer is no for you, you then have to ask yourself the other way around, especially if you're a woman, like, and you have platonic male friends. You might not be attracted to any of them. But if any of those guys flirted with you, hit on you, made weird jokes, like just kind of come off a little bit more forward about any type of dynamic with you other than friendship, because if they have, they probably have an attraction to you, physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever it may be. Excuse me, I don't care. It's probably still present there. And that lends myself again to saying that in most relationships that are platonic like that, it's not really platonic. One person, just like this little random ass study said, is attracted in one way or another to the other person. So it's really not possible to just be platonic friends or just be friends with someone of the opposite sex unless you check some of those boxes. And again, I'm not saying this is every single time, because nothing's 100% every single time. So no, fuck that. Nothing is 100%. But I would say in 95% or more of situations, this does apply. Obviously, there are going to be people that you know that you're friends with who it's platonic and they don't check any of those boxes, or you know someone who knows someone who knows someone who has a friend. Like, that shit doesn't matter. What matters is that for the average 95% and above of people, you're not going to have platonic friendships that are actually platonic with someone of the opposite sex unless they check some of those boxes. So within this like whole topic, because I don't just like to like be like, here's the problem, here's information, like, good luck. No, I want to be like, okay, like, here's a problem, or here's something maybe you haven't thought about. Excuse me. Or something maybe you need to think about a little bit more. Like, what can you actually do to like figure it out and like use this knowledge or whatever information I'm providing you with and actually apply it? So basically what I'm saying is that if you're in a relationship, like a committed relationship, my recommendation is, whether it's a new relationship or even a more long-term tenured relationship, you should have the conversation with your significant other about their friends who are the opposite sex, who don't check those boxes. So I mean, if your dude or your husband, if your girlfriend or your wife has opposite sex friends who are straight, who are single, who are not, it sounds fucked up, but disparagingly less attractive than they are, or possibly if it's a girl, I'm not gonna lie, okay, sorry, dudes, guys out there who watch this, if your wife is platonically friends with guys and she's really attractive and they're way less attractive than her, then that one doesn't count, because guys are crazy and they're gonna chase after you no matter how big of that gap is. So like, maybe throw that one out for guys with women. Or the other option is that it's someone you've known for a long time and you've been friends with for a long time, because if that box is checked, then it's another one of those, like, if none of those boxes are checked, if none of those boxes are checked, then you need to start asking your partner the question of like, seriously asking them, hey honey, or hey baby, whatever, are you attracted to this guy or girl? Like, emotionally, physically, spiritually, whatever. Do you have attraction to them? Because if they end up being really honest with you, sometimes they might say yes. They might like really think about it and be like, well, you know what? Like, I actually do have some level of attraction to this person. Or they might be honest and tell you like, no, I have no attraction. Now on the flip side, the next question I would really recommend for couples is asking them, okay, you don't have any attraction. Do you feel like they have any attraction to you? Do you feel like they've given you any signs or anything that they said or done that might make you think that they're attracted to you in any type of way? And if they have, then you need to have a serious conversation about what that actually looks like. Because I'm going to honestly tell you that at the end of the day, it's not a healthy situation for couples to have, like, people in a relationship to have platonic friends that have interest in them, because it's just a recipe for disaster. And the reason why I said this like advice really applies, and like why I want it to apply for couples more than anything else, is because the last thing you want to do, because I've had friends, I have had even some family members before who have experienced like the negative outcome of like trying to have platonic friends that don't check those boxes I already talked about. What can end up happening is you have a guy or a gal in a relationship who has a platonic friend who maybe they're not attracted to, but they're attracted to them. And you get into a fight with your spouse, your girlfriend, with whoever, or your husband, your husband. And you go to rely on somebody, because when you get into a fight with your significant other, you're not going to not talk to anybody. Usually you're not going to go talk to your family, or in most cases you're not. So who are you going to go talk to? You're going to talk to your friends. So let's say the guy goes and confides in his, friend who's a girl or a woman, whatever, and tells her what's going on in the relationship. It sounds shitty, but this advice is coming from like the truth bucket. Like I've talked about this before, like the real hard truth shit is people can manipulate the situations, whether it's intentional or not. People can end up literally putting themselves in a position where they're trying to like turn you on your partner, turn you away from them, and they're being very selfish and thinking about what they want and that they want to have a dynamic with you, and they don't give a shit about your partner in that moment because they're thinking about themselves and thinking about you. More so themselves though, obviously. And I've had, like I said, like friends and family before who have like went and reached out to someone of the opposite sex, and whether it's emotionally cheating and having an emotional connection with someone that develops into you caring about them more than you should, or in a way that's more than just friends, or physically cheating, whether it's making out, having sex, whatever it may be, neither one of those are things that obviously I want to have happen to any couples, because they're sitting around with friends who are just friends, but in reality that there's more to it than just that basic idea of just being platonic friends. So again, I'm not saying you have to cut off all your friends that are of the opposite sex that don't check any of the boxes from above. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is have those honest conversations with your significant other. Make sure that you're being honest when they ask you and you ask them, and you're not being a jealous asshole either way. And have the conversations, and don't put yourself in a position where some stupid stuff happens with someone who's a platonic friend because you didn't have the conversation and were honest yourself or with your partner. So that's pretty much what I have for like the general gist of the video. Oh, one more thing I'll say, because I kind of forgot it and it popped into my head, so I apologize for now like throwing it in there at the end. The only other box that you could really check is if it's someone who's like a mutual friend. So if you're a guy or a gal and you get introduced to one of your significant other's friends who's the opposite sex, then yeah, that doesn't really necessarily apply to that situation either, because like again, like it's okay to have, like in my opinion, mutual friends, especially who are of the opposite sex, who are just platonic, because they're getting brought in from somebody else and they're that person's friend first, so they're very, 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 very unlikely to do anything that's shitty or that's like bad. And if they do something bad, then that person's bad at picking friends, and it's a totally different story. Anyway, that's what I have for that. So as always with these videos, the whole thing is I want to make sure that I'm trying to help 100 million people. And I know it's a crazy big number, but it is what it is, and that's my goal. Whether it's in little ways or big ways, the whole idea is to help people. Whether it's completely changing their lives with one stupid video that I do, or if it's just brightening their day. So never going to ask people to like or subscribe my stuff, whether it's on here or on YouTube or anywhere else. But what I will ask is if you did get value or something positive from the video, please share it if you feel like it's going to benefit somebody else or help somebody else's relationship, or if you just want to piss somebody off because you want to stir the pot, put a little spice in there and stir it up, then feel free to share it as well directly to them. Or if you feel like it'll just brighten somebody's day because I say some random dumb shit in some of these videos and it's kind of funny, then feel free to share it for that reason as well. It is very, very greatly appreciated, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to be able to help 100 million people like improve their lives in different sizes of ways if people don't share the video. So it's pretty much what I have right now. If you do want to see these videos live, because you watch it on YouTube, live streams, it's going to be, the times are in like the little descriptions in the videos, so you'll be able to like actually know when the live streams are happening. I do question and answers after the video is done or the topic's done. Anyways, that's what I got. So for the YouTube fam that's out there, stay healthy and stay safe. Blah, blah, blah. That was terrible. That was a terrible outro. Stay healthy and stay safe, and I'll talk to you guys real soon. Bye.